We have chapter 53, the migration. I want to read this to you because the chapter after that is called the winter. And we have to make sure that we put that seed in our pocket with her question. Roz says, how bad could winter be? In the island that has storms from the north, I would think it might be bad. I don't know. Let's go to chapter 53, the migration, and we'll save chapter 54, the winter, for tomorrow. It was the night before the migration, and Brightbill was sleeping fitfully. Roz watched him toss and turn until he finally crawled up into her arms, and she rocked him to sleep, just like the old days. Early the next morning, Brightbill waddled outside and looked at the pond. The water was perfectly still. A few lazy clouds drifted above. Geese were already gathering by the beach, and then tiny claws scampered down from the treetops. You know who that is, right? So today's the day, huh? Said Chit Chat, perched on a branch. You're going to see so many new things and meet so many new animals, and if there are any squirrels at your wintering grounds, please tell them that Chit Chat says hello. Today is the day, said Brightbill. The flock will be leaving soon. Are you excited or nervous or scared? I'm just going to hold that because I bet you he's all three. I bet Brightbill is excited because his instincts tell him to go. I bet he's nervous because he doesn't really know what's going to happen, and scared for two things, really. One, about this adventure that's in front of him, but also in the home that he's leaving. That's a big mixture of feelings you can have all at the same time. Let's see what Brightbill says. Are you excited, nervous, or scared? Chit Chat asks. I'm all of those things, the squirrel whispered. Well, don't you worry about your mother. I'll look after her so you know she'll be perfectly fine. Brightbill smiled. I am afraid it is time to go, said Roz as she stepped out of the nest. Okay, Mama, said the gosling. See you in the spring, Chit Chat. Have a nice migration, Brightbill. The squirrel scampered back into the treetops. Come home with lots of exciting stories, but not too exciting because I don't want anything scary to happen to you. Goodbye! You do want stories. Sometimes scary stories are good, and sometimes if they're about people that you love, not so much. The geese were honking with excitement and hustling around as they made their final preparations. Several of the fathers huddled together discussing their flight plans while the mothers took a head count. There you are, Brightbill, Loudwing honked from the middle of the crowd. We are just about to begin. May I have your attention, please, said the biggest goose. As most of you know, my name is Longneck, and I'll be leading this year's migration. I'm asking everyone to please join your families for takeoff. Once we're all airborne, each family will take its position in our V formation, and we'll start the first leg of our journey. Are there any questions? I think we've probably all seen V formations, and this is the discussion, the meeting that happened before the V formation that we see all the time. Do you think that they actually talk to each other and decide things like who's going to be the leader and who's going to take the lead? I mean, who's going to go to the back of the V and the front of the V? I have a question, came a booming voice. My son will not have any family with him. Where does he fit into the formation? Oh, Roz has Brightbill's back. Everyone turned to Longneck. He can fly with me, said the big goose. I hear Brightbill is a very clever flyer. I could use his help at the point. They all know. A moment later, the geese began flapping and honking and making their way into the air. A cloud of feathers floated down around the robot and her son. You are not a gosling anymore, said Roz. I am proud of the fine young goose you have become. Brightbill fluttered up to his mother's shoulder. Thanks, Mama. The young goose wiped his eyes. Is this where we say goodbye? He's wiping his eyes because he's got tears in them. Oh, Brightbill. This is where we say goodbye for now. Spring will soon be here, and we will be together again. I'm going to miss you, said Brightbill as he nuzzled his mother. I'm going to miss you too, said Roz as she nuzzled her son. The goose took a deep breath. I think that any journey or anything that you're starting off on probably work better if you take a deep breath first. And if you open your arms, we already know. At first, then he shook his tail feathers, flapped his wings, and joined the flock. Yeah, that makes sense. At first, the geese flew in a disorganized jumble, but each goose slowly drifted into position until the flock formed a wobbly V. At the lead was Longneck, and behind his left wing was Brightbill. They circled in the sky until the V pointed south. And then the geese began their long migration. Roz climbed to the top of a tree and watched as the flock slowly faded into the horizon. Let me show you this picture. It's kind of lonely, kind of soaring and lonely at the same time. I think that Roz is probably thinking, I'm sad to see my Brightbill go, but I know he must. And I also know he will come back with stories to tell. Can you see Roz standing on that treetop? See you in a little bit, Brightbill, or in 5 months. That's almost a whole school year. Chapter 54, The Winter.